Hello everyone, welcome to 9 Charge, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to explore the realm of Shadow. We'll walk through the Vale of Broken Hopes, catch a ride with a Black Ark Fleet Master across the Shadrach Sea, and what we see along the way will fuel our speculation for what warbands we might see coming to Warhammer Underworlds Harrowdeep. Just before we set off on our adventure, if you enjoy this video, please be sure to drop it a like. As I've said before, I know everybody on YouTube asks this, but it does really mean an awful lot. It helps people find the channel and just helps us to grow and helps us keep doing what we're doing. And if you enjoy this video and you'd like to see more content like this in the future, please subscribe. If this is your second or third time watching videos on the channel and you keep coming back, hopefully this is the video that earns your subscription. Now, of course, there are all different ways Games Workshop could go with this. There's all sorts of different warbands and races that they could choose from different factions in this new edition of Underworlds. But these are the picks that I've chosen that I would like to see personally. As I said before, they're pure speculation, but they are based on maps that we have of the Realm of Shadow and teases that we've seen in the direction that the lore might be heading. Southeast to the Gate of Vipers along the Mandrake Plain is the KAENGAN Lodge. Here resides a lodge of fire slayers who came to the realm in search for Urgold. These fire slayers have adopted the clandestine ways of the realm, most of which were learned from their former clients, the Shroudling Kings. Their appearance is as shadowy as the land itself. Warriors from the lodge ensure that they daub their faces and beards with soot to create a two-toned pattern, as well as bearing orange and black striped crests. This first choice of mine I think would be really fun to see. Everybody knows that dwarves are at home in the dark, in the shadows, underground, and to see these black soot-covered faces coming out of the Harrowdeep I think would just be great. And shadow dwarves would be quite a different aesthetic from what we've seen previously from our more orderly dwarves and even from our chaos dwarves. Now, if we travel east from the KAENGAN Lodge to where the Shadrach Sea meets the Curlicue Sea, we'll come upon MYSTHAVEN. MYSTHAVEN is a port made up of a massive collection of ships moored on the shores of Cape Tenebrax. The city can be broken up and moved across the seas as necessary, forming massive armadas. Whilst this is technically a city of Sigmar, the city attracts unsavoury characters, and those born in the city learn to be duplicitous and inscrutable. Locals are excessively proud about their reputation for criminal violence and deception, and looking down on Azerite laws which they find to be too rigid for surviving the Shadrach Sea. As Harrowdeep takes place in a dungeon underneath the seas of Orgu, I like to think that the denizens of MYSTHAVEN know all about its location and how to get there. And although this isn't the way that the lore seems to suggest that Cities of Sigmar is going to go, with the Dawnbringer Crusades on the horizon, I just think it'd be really fun to see a pirate faction, some Black Ark Corsairs led by a Black Ark Fleet Master. So here's hoping. Next, all the way to the east in Greater Olgaroth is something of a mystery. It may or may not be there. Its denizens are mysterious and deadly in a society in which treachery is an art form, and they are the masters of stealth, assassination, and spying. I am talking, of course, about the suspected Clan ESHIN lair for Skaven. For me, this just fits perfectly with the whole idea of Harrowdeep. If you've got a shadowy dungeon somewhere underground, of course you're going to have ESHIN assassins and other units scurrying around. It'd be great to see some gutter runners carrying 3 blades, one in each hand and one in the tail, jumping out at people in the Harrowdeep and slaying them before they've even realised. I'd love to see some new Skaven models. Quite a few models in the Skaven range that I'd like to see redone, to be honest. It's brought up to date a little bit, and I think this would be a nice nod from Games Workshop to say that they are actually thinking about doing this. So this is another one that I hope we really see. The next warband I would like to see in the new edition of Underworlds is from a race that really have no place in the Realm of Shadow whatsoever, but I think that they could bring a really interesting contrast, and that is that I'd like to see another Lumineth warband. I'd specifically like to see these from the Zenith Temple, Zenith meaning a point in the sky directly above the observer. I like to think of these as being true incarnation of the Realm of Light in the Mortal Realms, and they're said to be led by Tyrion himself. I'd love to see this glowing warband of light elves break into the darkness of the Harrowdeep and just see what happens. This is because I'd like to see some juxtaposition between light and dark, and I'd like to see some interaction on the board with the playstyle, because we know that in this new edition of Underworld you're going to be able to obscure part of the map in shadow, and I'd really like the light from the Lumineth to be able to uncover that, which possibly could be an ability that is slightly overpowered in this new edition, but I just think it would be really fun to see and a great playstyle. And also, I really like this idea of all the realms being kind of equal and opposites and at odds with each other. So why not let's have the Lumineth come to the realm of Shadow. And finally, speaking of factions that are at odds with each other and realms that are at odds with each other, we can't really talk about the Lumineth unless we talk about the Umbraneth and the Lord of the Realm of Shadow himself, Malarian. Now, Underworlds is a game that has given us so many great new models and teased new factions in the past, so why not let's have our very first taste of the Umbraneth come from this new edition, Harrowdeep. Let's have the race we've all been waiting for, the race that is so at home in these realms. They probably know these dungeons inside and out. Let's see a great new aesthetic for elves, and let's pit them against the realm's finest. So those are my top 5 picks. There are some other honourable mentions. I mean, I could go on and on and on. I would like to see some SLAANEsh in some form, some Seekers. They do blame Malarian chiefly for the disappearance of their god, and I think that this would be great for them to infiltrate the Realm of Shadow and try and get their own back and try and find out exactly what is going on. Of course, there's every possibility of the Daughters of KHAINE showing up. We know that Hagnar is based in the Realm of Shadow. But let me know what you think. Let me know what warbands you would like to see. What speculation do you have? What would really excite you in this new edition? Please be sure to drop a comment. As ever, I've been 9inch Charge. I hope you're all staying well. I hope all your charge rolls are at least a 9, and I will catch you next time.